Our sponsors, starting with Ace Hardware, they can be reached at 721-2500. They're located at Gray's Crossing there in Tennessee Ridge. That's on Highway 49. That's Ace Hardware. You can reach them at 721-2500. Ace Hardware, your friendly hardware place. Signature Healthcare, where quality of life is their mantra. Located in the Arlington community of Erin, Tennessee. They can be reached at 289-4141 for any information you may need. From a dream to reality, Traditions First Bank. They can be reached at 289-5500. It doesn't matter whether it's a banking account, a checking account, buying a car, or a house there. Check them out. Houston County's only hometown children daily, whether it's a simple volleyball or show or anything.
Ready for their legislative body meeting. This is May 20th, 2013. They're all coming in now, as you see here, different ones, support groups, so forth, so on, like that. And we're hoping this will be a good day. We're sponsored by Ace Hardware at Tennessee Ridge, Signature Healthcare here in Houston County, Drug Alliance, and Traditions First Bank. We are WCBN Channel 12. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, looking at no SUV you got.
It's used to it, yeah.
Not different in your van.
Yeah, look, I was comfortable with that. So I really didn't sit it long enough to decide. That's what I really wanted. I had headed towards the lake the other day. They were having the signature competition. All the way to the top and my EPA was all the way to the top. That's not a little, no, this is in James. And I went down to Hankins and we went down to it's got stuff on it. I don't know about it. I mean, it's got more buttons for it than it does. I mean, it even has keys and wheels. Well, I told it I watched it, but they said, afraid one of them doesn't never break. So it's expensive to be put. But if that happens, I'll probably see if I can go to one. Regular breathing.
Well, we used to, but we can't call it the same thing. I guess we're going to got it because I believe four-wheel drive too.
Yeah, it's four wheels. It has the thing on it, you can put it on with regular drive, you can put it on two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, or you can put it where it's automatic. I mean, the thing has also volume. So, I mean, how do they know what the volume is like to be? It does quite well at that. Look outside and see what the outside is. And when you're sitting, you can see your area.
Just right on. Thank you. You got heated seats too?
Oh, yeah. Leather heated seats. With leather, you need heated seats.
Got a vibration or anything like that? The heated seats are nice.
It even has
Really? Well, they said they had a lot to talk about today. That's okay. You can go sit with him now, brother.
Brother Hart, would you lead us in prayer?
Yes. Our Father, we come before you this evening. We come with thanksgiving for a beautiful day you've granted for the fantastic nation in which we live. We're thankful for those who have made our freedom possible, that we may have bodies like this to determine the future of our community. We ask our blessing upon the leaders of our nation, our state, especially these at this time. And this we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Meeting will come to order. Roll call, Mr. Brown.
William Agee. George Sherham. Randall French. Steve Hoffman. Ray Elliott. Martha Greenfield. Gerald Kingsman. James Van Fleet. Leslie Lewis. Chris Sell. Joy Bright. James Vassell. Grant Lamastus. Larry Sykes. 14 members.
We do have a quorum tonight. Before we get started on our agenda, let me give you a rundown of where we are financially from our trustee. The general fund, as of today, $1,157,067. Solid waste, $203,355. Highway, $1,388,435. Schools, general purpose schools, $6,135,682. Debt service, $1,666,418, and hospital, $1,228,647. So as of today, that's according to our trustee, that's where we are. With that said, I passed out a new agenda. If there's nothing to be added, I'd like a motion to approve the agenda that was passed out tonight. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. You have a copy. You've got a copy of the minutes from the previous meeting. I'd like a motion to approve those minutes. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. I should have done this before we got started. We're fortunate tonight that we do have some guests. Most of the time we meet and there's only 2 or 3 of us out there, but we have some of our youth here from the youth center. And why don't y'all stand, the ones that are there, and the people that work with them. We are really glad to have you here. One day you'll be either sitting in those seats or up here or some other capacity here in the county, and hopefully you'll be one of the leaders here in our county. So thank you for being here, and thank you for what y'all do. Thank you. We also have some of our fire department people here tonight. They don't usually come either, so we have several of them here. So good, and we do have some other guests, and I'm not going to go into each one, but thank you for what y'all have done during the last flood. There was a lot of work done. A lot of people, I think I gave Dave the cards where people have written in regards to thanking the fire department for some of the work that they did during this last flood that took place. So thank you guys also. With that said, under old business, is Nikki Smith here? Hi, Nikki, thank you. This will be the only time, hopefully, you'll ever have to come. If you want to renew, you don't have to come back, but for a new notary. I'd like a motion to approve Ms. Smith's notary. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Let me get caught up here. Next, you have four renewals: Tammy Yeeds, Debbie Elliott, Deborah Kent, and Regina Parker. I'd like a motion to approve these renewals. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Under new business, Mr. Lamassus is our new commissioner for us in District 7, and I'd like to place him on the same committees that Mr. Lewis had, and so I'd like a motion to approve adding Brent Lamassus to these committees. Motion is made. Is there a second? Second. And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. We also have our Houston County Archive appointments, Ms. Ann Sykes and Leah Baggett, and I think Leah's here over there. They do a lot of work. Her and Ms. Ann, I see them downstairs a lot. And motion is made to approve the adding these to the Archives Committee. And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your Board of Equalization. Mr. Bob Smitto, Mr. Gary Taylor, I think he's taking Mr. Smitto's place. I'd like a motion to approve Mr. Gary Taylor to be the Equalization Board. Second. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your Library Board. There's two of them, really. You have your Library Board appointments for actually your regular Library Board here locally, and that's Mr. Tim Clegren, Mike Rodriguez, Chris Pitts, and Susan Bale. And then we also have an appointment to the Red River Regional Board, Ms. Linda Christian. I'd like a motion to approve both of these, all of these appointments here to these boards. Motion is made. Is there a second? And seconded. Any discussion on this? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. We have our composite map. You know, I know there's been some discussion about how to read this, and I talked to Herb today about it. And what we're going to do at our next work session that we have, I'll probably have Herb to come up. He's going to have to do a PowerPoint presentation where he can show y'all how you can use it on your computer and get more out of this particular map. But I'd like a motion now to approve this composite map so we can put it on our record. Motion is made. Is there second and seconded? Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Surety bond, you have a surety bond for Ms. Kathy Harder, who is the Director of Schools. Her bond is up, and we have to approve her bond for Director of Schools. I'd like a motion to approve the surety bond for Ms. Kathy Harder, Director of Schools. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have fire department surplus equipment. This piece of equipment, the motor, it's the old ambulance that we had our...
Did you skip 7? Did you skip 7?
Oh, Yes, I did. We'll come back to 7. Okay, but we're going with the fire department since I'm there. Fire department surplus equipment. This is an old piece of equipment. The motor's bad in it, and we won't put it on surplus. We've already bought another one that is, a bargain. It was a real bargain. I think Mr. Slavin back there helped us a lot in that. But I'd like a motion to allow us to surplus this piece of equipment. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Then you have your amendment of contract in lieu of performance bond. This has to do with our old landfill up there. Every year we renew this, and our bond comes down a little bit. You have a copy of that. I'd like a motion to approve the amendment of the contract in lieu of performance bond. Motion is made. Is there a second? And seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Number 9, resolution to update safety and health plans. Every 5 years we have to update our safety and health plans, and it's a requirement that we have. I'd like a motion to allow us to put this as our safety and health plan for Houston County. Motion is made. Is there a second? And seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Continuing budget and tax anticipation resolution. We'll not have our budget done by June 30th, so we need to pass a continuing budget resolution, and this is what this does, is allows us to operate on last year's budget until we adopt a budget. And so I'd like a motion to approve the continuing budget and tax anticipation resolution. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have a resolution in tax anticipation capital outlay note. If for some reason we need to borrow money, you can't just do it immediately. So this resolution in tax anticipation capital outlay note allows us, if we need to borrow this $400,000 to operate until our tax dollars come in. We pass it every year as a thing, and we go on and send the paperwork into the state. We don't go borrow the money, but we get the approval of that. So if we need to do it, then it's there so that we can do it. We'll know more later on, but it looks like our fund balance is in pretty good shape right now, but we do need to pass this. I'd like a motion to approve resolution in tax anticipation capital outlay note. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your LITA grant resolution. Each year we apply for a LITA grant. This year the LITA grant will be for $33,700. This resolution has to be passed, and then we send it into the state for application to apply for this grant. I'd like a motion to approve the LITA grant resolution. Motion is made and second. Any discussion on it? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next has to do with AT&T cell towers. I met with a gentleman 3 or 4 weeks ago in regards to AT&T wanting to put 2 new towers here in the county. The sites that they told me they were going to put them, one is in the McKinnon area, and the other one is out on Mail Route, which is out close to Highway 13. I don't know that there's any action that needs to be taken on that, but just as commissioners, you need to know that it looks like we're going to get 2 new AT&T towers here in the county, which hopefully will help some of our cell coverage here in the county. Joe.
Who's going to pay the state improvement taxes on that, AT&T or the property owner?
That's a good question. They're going to be leasing the property. It'll be leased. That property will be leased, and they'll pay that landowner. I don't know the exact amount. I've heard some figures, so I don't want to say, but that'll be interesting. That'll be something the tax assessor will have to look at and say who's going to pay it.
Do they think that would give us coverage throughout the county?
No, I don't think so. I think it will. I think it'll give some coverage in the western portion in the McKinnon area, probably, I don't know the mileage that they'll go out, but it won't cover the entire eastern part of the county, I don't think. And then the other one is in the southern part of Highway 13. Mill Route Road is right at the edge of Houston County. It comes in, so it's going to tie into Houston and to Humphreys County, so it'll help that area. I don't, of course, I don't know, I don't really know how they'll direct their those towers as far as where they shoot their beam out. I don't know that, but I just don't see it covering the entire county. But it will help. Right now, you know, in the western portion of the county, when you leave probably Teeter's Market, that's the end of it. You know, you're in no man's land. I mean, as far as our cell coverage is concerned. I think our 911 still picks up, but as far as cell phones, you don't have anything. Unless you're fortunate enough, sometimes you can pick a signal up along the river if you're out there, but it's just not all the time. That's something that you can rely on. Any questions? Any other questions on the cell tower? If not, we'll move on to the next thing. Purchase of Farm Bureau building. We talked about purchasing that and moving the election office there. There's some issues with the election office being located here in the courthouse. Farm Bureau is going to be building a new building out close to the school or Erin Elementary School, and we talked to them about it, and they want approximately $62,000 or $60,000. That will take another $2 to do some renovation that we've got to do over there. We won't do it. We'll allow them to do it. We'll just write a check for the entire amount. The $2,000 deals with making sure that bathrooms has handicap accessibility and the ramp going in is handicap accessible, and also leaving the stove, refrigerator, the appliances that are there. And some of them are new. I think the refrigerator's a new refrigerator because they were planning on taking the refrigerator out. But I thought that was pretty cheap to $2,000 to get one of those bathrooms where a handicapped person can use it. George?
You got to raise that concrete ramp
About
6 inches or something.
6 or 4 inches, something like that, all the way up. And what you've got, the ramp's okay, but you got a little step up about like that. And so we can pour another ramp on top of it, and it'll make it level it out. And then one of the bathrooms, the door's not wide enough for a person to get in with a wheelchair. And we're going to renovate the bathroom that's in the large room there, because that's the room that we possibly would be using, or some outside group might be using, and even during early elections, early voting, that's where the election office would be held too. So.
The contract we have with the phone company for the phone system, I guess that would extend to that building too now, wouldn't it?
I doubt that, but we'll talk to State.
So, I mean,
Maybe, that's a,
I think we have it now.
Yeah, I think it will work.
Okay, that's good. Sounds good.
All right, what's the news?
That's good. It's probably got a good system there. But any other questions? Any other questions on purchasing of the Farm Bureau building? If not, I'd like a motion to purchase the Farm Bureau building for $62,000. Motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion? Who made the motion? Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Number 15. What you have is a resolution and capital outlay note to purchase the Farm Bureau building for the $62,000. This will allow me to go on and borrow the money to purchase that particular facility. I'd like a motion to approve the resolution, capital outlay note to purchase the Farm Bureau building. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, we have a report of debt obligation on hospital. Anytime we borrow money, the state now requires us to send back this debt report on debt obligations, and for it to be approved by the legislative body, showing you what we have actually done. I'd like a motion to approve the debt obligation on this $7.5 million for borrowing for the hospital. Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Resolution to appoint Board of Trustees, Houston County Community Hospital, and approve bylaws of trustees for Houston County Community Hospital. You have a copy of that resolution. I'd like a motion to approve this resolution to appoint the Board of Trustees for the Houston County Community Hospital and approve the bylaws for trustees of Houston County Community Hospital. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion?
Yeah, we have, everybody should know that we can make changes to this later on. We're not held to this right now forever, so we can make changes
That's correct.
periodically or as we see fit later. We're just trying to get approval for the
Joint Commission.
approval.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the things that we've got to have before they'll come and do the Joint Commission. All right, motion was made and second. Any other discussion? If not, roll call vote. Oh, no, listen, I'm not going to roll call. All in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your Houston County Community Hospital Board of Trustees orientation and your bylaws is what they are. Community Hospital. I'd like a motion to approve the bylaws for the Houston County Community Hospital. And this is just like George said. We have to have them to get them in place for Joint Commission, but they can be changed at any time that we need to. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, we have a fire station and equipment note extensions for 6 years. We're just extending this note for another 6 years. I'd like a motion to approve the note extension for the fire station and equipment. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, we'll have Health Department building note extension, 3 years. The same thing, it's a note for 3 years. This particular note will be paid off at the end of this 3 years. Like a motion to approve motion is made to approve the Health Department building note extension for 3 years. Is there a second? You get a second? And a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, we have the Affordable Care Act. Gentlemen, this is the one that we're going to be talking about for a pretty good while. I've got a good webcam that you can look at. If you'll give me your email address, I'll be glad to email it to you. But I'd also, if you had the time, but I didn't time it. How long did you say it took you, George?
3.5 hours.
It is a seminar.
3.5 hours and 7 passengers.
Okay. But it is good. It explains a lot about the Affordable Care Act. And the Affordable Care Act means that Houston County, and I'm talking about all of Houston County, doesn't make any difference whether you're highways, schools, hospital, or general, or solid waste. Everyone in this county is going to be offered insurance under this Affordable Care Act. And we don't do that now. And so, and we've got some deadlines we think that we're going to have to meet. And I think January the 1st is the deadline, that we're going to have something in place by January the 1st. Now, gentlemen, I can tell you, it's going to cost money to do this. And we addressed this years and years ago. But now the federal government is addressing it for us, because they're not saying you might do it or you want to do it or you don't. They're saying you are going to do it. And if you don't do it, if you will listen to this webcam, I'm going to give you just a little summary. If you don't offer a plan, they can fine Houston County $2,000 for every employee that we have. $2,000 per employee. Now you could figure what it is. but that's quite a bit when you put. Also, how many employees? Well, I can give you a rough estimate. Under the general fund, we have, we do a payroll check of about 100, 90 to 100. It'll vary a little bit. Highway Department has about 21, 22. I'd say schools probably have about 250. So you can take it from there. And the hospital has probably 80 to 100. Okay? So you start adding it up. Now, that's one thing. If you don't offer it, that's a given. You're going to be fined at $2,000 per person. Now, the other thing is you can offer it, and your plan doesn't meet the standards that the federal government has set for it. And if that employee goes with the state plan or the federal plan that's out there, or they go to the co-op, because Tennessee they opted out of the Medicare type program. They opted out of that. So now there'll be probably co-ops set up here in the state of Tennessee. But if that employee goes to the state, then even though you've offered a plan, if they can go to the state and get a better plan and get more efficient, then that fine is $3,000 for that employee. So what they're doing, in a sense, is that you got to offer a plan that the employees are going to take. You can't just offer anything, because if you do, you're going to be fined. Now, there's a lot of stipulations in there. One of them has to do with 9.5%. The employee can't pay any more than 9.5% of their gross salary. So you can start looking at that also. The rest will be made up by the county. So there's, and we, like I say, we've got a deadline that we're going to have to meet by January 1. Guys, that's not far off. I mean, we're in May, getting ready, halfway through May. June's here. You've also got a sign-up period that could be anywhere from 90 days, I believe. So if you back that up from January coming back, that's October, the 1st of October, you're going to have a plan pretty much in place by then. And so what I'm asking is, because there is a lot to do, and I myself, and I know a couple of y'all have looked at some of the stuff that I've passed out, you need to know as much about it as possible. Because it's complicated. It's not just here it is when we do it. You've got to know what you're doing, or it's going to cost us more money. But I think we need to set just a special committee up, just to work on this, to make sure that we meet those deadlines. And if you don't have a problem with it, and I didn't put it in here because the more I thought about it, I may understand it or think I understand it, but then when you read it, then we could have some discussions about it. Because I know George and I have talked some about it already, but it's always good to have input, because everybody reads something and then they may say something that you don't, and we need to really understand it. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask a few people to serve on this committee, and if you can, work it into your schedules. I know you work, so but there's going to be some times. And one of them, Brent, you work Southern Gage, you work in the business field, it'd be good if you don't mind serving. George, I'd like for you to serve. Randall, you're also in business. And Leslie, you work with Austin P. And I don't think we need a huge committee. And I think that committee then can report back. And Larry, you may want to serve. I don't know. It's up to you. You want to serve?
I would rather not. I can if you need me.
Well, I think the smaller the committee, the better it is. If you make it too large, then is there anybody else that just really wants to be on this committee? If you do, I will put you there. If not, I'd like a motion to allow Brent, George, Leslie and Randall to serve on the Affordable Care Committee and work on making sure that we meet those deadlines and do what we have to do to provide health insurance for the citizens or for the employees of Houston County. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any other discussion on it? Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Yes.
I want everybody to know that this thing's going to cost this county in real estate taxes maybe as much as half of our current property tax. This is a huge number that by federal law we have to do. And Jamie and I would give our right arms not to raise taxes, but you're going to see a big property tax increase this summer solely because of this Affordable Care Act. It has nothing to do with the hospital. There's no money that needs to be for the hospital. This is all about this mandated act that's forced upon us. So be prepared to pay some big bucks on property taxes.
George, it's one of those things that we don't have a lot of control over. I mean, it's a federal law, and we have to meet it. And it is going to cost every department in this county money. And and it's money that we do not have under our present budget. George is right. If we have to have a property tax increase, which none of us want one, but if we have to have it, it's not going to be because of the hospital. He's right. It will be because of the Affordable Care Act. With that said, budget amendments and transfers. The general fund. You have some budget transfers. I passed out one extra. I'd like them. Do you have any questions on the general fund budget transfers? You have a copy of all of those with you. Motion is made to approve the general fund budget transfers. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Then you have general fund budget amendments. You have 1, 2, 3. You should have 3 pages of those. Any questions on those? Yes, Joe. Can we go through this and then we'll do it at the very end, okay? All right, okay. You have the general fund budget amendments. I'd like a motion to approve the general fund budget amendments. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your hospital account budget amendment. That's for the city of Erin on their taxes. I'd like a motion to approve the hospital budget amendment. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your convenience center budget amendment. I'd like a motion to approve this. This is vehicle maintenance, that is, and repair of things. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Motion does carry. Next, you have your quarterly reports. You have one from your general, county general, highway, and schools. Motion is made to approve the trustees' reports. Is there a second? And second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? All right. Joey, now let's go back to what Joey was. Oh, that's not a problem. Let me say something about you, and you're right. The creeks are horrible. We had Marsha Blackburn, our representative, was in town last week, and the county mayor from Stewart County, the county mayor from Humphreys County, myself, and I think the city mayor from Humphreys County was there, and the city mayor from Cumberland City, and of course the city mayor of Erin was there. And this was a topic that we all discussed with her about why we can, the reasoning for not being able to get in these creeks. Of course, Jimmy's hands is tied. I mean, there's a law that won't prevent him, don't allow him just go in there and just get gravel and go through the creeks. But it's been a real issue in all of these counties for years. I mean, years, about trying to clean these creeks out. And it's going to have to come from the state and federal government to allow us to do it. And, of course, Representative Blackburn said she'd be glad to look into it. Of course, she couldn't make any promises, but we'll just have to see what takes place. Hey, Randall?
What are you doing good for us to send a letter from previous representatives voicing our opinion? All commissioners, signed by all commissioners.
We can do that. Tell them that we'll send one to our state representatives and our federal, okay? Our senators and our congressmen, and then our same thing with our state and our.
Still on our foot, if we haven't rained on it yet a couple of weeks ago, no matter what. I know you look at all three. I sure think it's a whole lot.
If we could get in, I agree with you, Joey. I mean, they got gravel and they got trees, they got everything in them, and the water's got to go somewhere. And you know what happens? It's going to come out of the banks. Is what's going to take place.
If we got, like you've got logs against the upside of the bridge, where the creek's going underneath, can we not hang a bucket truck over the edge, pull those logs that are blocking the culvert or opening to the bridge?
I have applied with the NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation, for a grant. And they have some money, you just have to wait, but I'm waiting on that right now.
But do you have to get permission from EPA?
Well,
Just hang over and get the tree away from the culvert?
this grant, I've already done that twice on the good order this year, twice. This grant that I have applied for, you have to wait for their approval before you do anything. If you do anything, then but I have applied over here before last, and I got a letter today saying they wasn't ready. So
Hey.
urgency.
Hey, Jamie.
Get paid to get that out on the bridge. Well, I agree. But, to answer Joey's question, this all going to cost over $500,000 coming up.
Hey. Jim.
Thing will be that NRCS.
The two counties were not declared disaster areas. You had to have. We didn't meet the $8 million threshold for it. Hey, Jamie, what was the bridge that down by the crossroads? The state cleaned out. Was it 50 feet? And yeah, I mean, 50 feet. That was it. They left a big island right up. And I'm sure that's the only. They did that because that was the law. That's as far as they could go. It was 50 feet without.
We can get that letter type of when we're going to budget for the time there. You walk down the creek, the channel there, it's just piled up gravel and trees and logs and everything else there. And
He's supposed to be here the 24th from 2 to 3, I believe. And we could talk to him about it. That's just,
If there's not water running in the creek 12 months out of the year, is that still considered a problem?
Still true.
We got places that flood this time, and didn't flood here.
But there's more debris on county roads, this storm, and things that I'm in house. It's on every road, everywhere you go. It doesn't matter where you're at. Hurricane Creek Road is in the worst shape in my road since I've been going there. We don't have the big projects like Candy Ranch and some of those others that we had in 2010. Everything, the county is more widespread, more equally spread as it's over the whole county. It's a year of disaster. And April the 25th, April 27th of 2011, FEMA estimated $487,000.
Since we weren't declared a disaster zone or whatever due to this flood, we reimbursed on any of this stuff we're doing now, so you're following around this time. Last time they took care of us. Stewart County wasn't declared disaster either.
No, neither county. Neither county. See, there's the $8 million threshold. Neither county could meet it. It didn't get up to that $8 million.
That's what it's got to be before you declare.
It ain't right.
It's not right, but I mean, that's the rules that they have.
So if I have to be involved with it. I mean, that's the only thing that is, so. If we hadn't had it, pretty quickly, for like I said, we would have comparison.
Go on. Larry.
If you get grant money to work in the creek, I know there's a lot of,
Only to clean out on the bridge.
sorry,
Only to clean out from underneath the bridge.
breaches on.
Well, you got a big problem with Hannah Lane. There's a huge tree laying there. There's a gas line saw that.
It's water.
The water line, okay. That's can you reach the grab up and stop the tree?
We'll probably, we'll be that long.
Yeah.
You have any idea we go $5 grand?
Absolutely. So there will go. So they came, let's say,
It'd be nice to see the National Guard start these creeks, start pushing, pulling, cleaning them out.
Well,
you can't believe what comes down White Oak Creek.
Yes, it would, yes, it would.
When it's up.
should we not do something to make the property owner that has those creeks to clean out his portion of the property? Like in the big cities, the city will say, hey, you got to clean your lot, or else we will do it and then charge you.
Well, he's going to have the same problem that everybody else. He's going to get a permit for him to get in that creek too. You see what I'm saying? He can't just go, even though it's on his property. He can't just get down in there. I mean, there are property owners. I promise you, we've got some property owners here in the county that did get in the creek, and they went through a lot of headache and hardship. And I'm not going to mention any names, but some of you know who I'm talking about out in the Bateman Branch area especially. Went through some real heartaches because they did common sense things. That's what they did. But I think we'll try and get this letter together. We're going to recess. This meeting's not going to adjourn anyway. So what I'll do, I'll try and get the county attorney to word something up for that it can be brought back to you on the 26th of this month when we recess. Is that okay? All right. All right. I'd like then a motion to recess to June the 26th at 7:30 p.m. Motion is made. Is there a second? And second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We stand recessed till June the 26th.
Well, I didn't get there. June the 26th, 7:30, they'll resume this meeting. We found out that you didn't get to work in your creek, basically because you don't own it. This WCBN, sponsored by Ace Hardware, Tennessee Ridge, Signature Healthcare here in Houston County Drug Alliance, and Traditions Burst Bank. We'll see y'all down the road. Bye-bye. Well, we're here at J.D. Lewis.
People ask me, are you enjoying it? And I say, I'm having more fun than I thought I was going to have. I mean, it's really been great. I really am enjoying it. And I think we've had a pretty good year. If you look at what we've done, the state of Tennessee has cut food tax again this year. We've cut the hall tax by raising the exemption, meaning the person who has to pay hall tax, they got to make more income to start the tax. So that's two taxes that are getting cut. The death tax and inheritance tax got cut some more this year. It's going to continue to trend down. But at the same time we're cutting tax rate, tax revenues in the state are going up. We're proving Reaganomics. There's no better word for it. That's what people call it. If you cut the tax rate, you actually increase the tax revenue. It seems counterintuitive, but it's been shown every time it's been done to be true. And that's what we're doing in Tennessee. We put $100 million in the rainy day fund this year. That rainy day fund, of course, in 2007 plummeted when the economy dropped off, so we've got to replenish it. Last 2 years, they put 50 each year. So they continue to put money into the rainy day fund. This year, we're going to put 100. The budget is down for this year, and it's going to be down for next year. So fiscally, we are doing a great job in the state of Tennessee. We have our pension fully funded. One of only 6 states in the nation. So it's good stuff. This year's legislation that we are taking to social job. Well, we've waived that CDL skills test requirement. And a veteran trucker with a military trucker's license can turn that into the state of Tennessee with a letter from his commander saying he's been no accidents for 2 years. He gets a CDL from the state of Tennessee. We're 500 truckers short in the state of Tennessee. We want to recruit these veterans, one, take care of the veterans, two, create jobs for them and opportunity, lowering the hurdles so they can get here and stay in Tennessee. Take care of them, it's good for the state. Recently, Tennessee was rated the #1 state in the nation to retire in, the #1 state in the nation to start a small business, and the #3 most free state in the nation, meaning restrictive laws. You have fewer of those than anybody but 2 other states. So that's good stuff. We also are doing a bill for next year that will allow veterans who are 100% disabled to have their wives college paid. If he's in a wheelchair and 100% disabled, we'll send the wife to college so that he can take and learn living. So just some things that we're doing. We passed a bill this year that in a rape case, if a woman is assaulted and you get a DNA sample, you can charge that DNA sample as if it's a person. Even though you don't know the name of it, you get the profile, you call it John Doe, and you can charge it. That stops the statute of limitations, which basically means that 15 years from now, they get the guy and they identify the DNA, and you charge for both crimes. And that gives that woman some closure. And as an ER physician, having taken care of women in that situation, it is devastating. And to be able to bring some closure for those ladies, that's probably the bill I feel the most proud about. But another one that you'll appreciate, we made it a stronger crime or a higher penalty to assault a police officer. If you assault a cop in Tennessee now, or anybody wearing a badge, and we added firemen and EMTs to that. So if they assault somebody who's taking care of us, instead of a $5,000 fine, it's a $15,000 fine. And the prison sentence is a higher class of misdemeanor. And there's a bevy of other bills that we got through this year. I felt good about an EpiPen. Now your school system can have an extra EpiPen in case the kid has an allergic reaction. If you get an allergic reaction, some of these people die. If they forget to take their pen to school with them, the school can now have one. Just stuff like that. There's lots of other bills that we're working on, but just wanted to come and report that stuff to you. We also have had, some other success that gives me and our team some greater influence, not only in the state, but now out of the state. GOPAC, which is one of the nation's GOP-based political action committees, named me top 21 leader in the nation. So I'm going to New York to get an award, but what that really means is I get in and I get to introduce people that can help me come back and better serve the district. Because in the end, when it comes to stuff like this, it really is who you know, and who you know and whom you can influence. And so the more of those things that happen to me, the better it is for everybody. Because I can go and leverage that to get road projects done. So, that's kind of how it works, It is how it works. So what we're here about today, two other things I want to tell you guys about because they impact you. Two other things that we did this time around. We got $400,000 for soldiers and their family members, not just the soldier, but the family member to get PTSD training. 22 soldiers killed themselves a day in the nation right now. That suicide rate is higher than the combat death rate. Okay? And in the state of Tennessee, we've had 10 National Guardsmen kill themselves so far this year. They're coming home broken in here and broken up here, and so I felt like it was a priority to get those folks some help. The other thing that we got some cash brought back to the district for, Farm Bureau guys from all three of the counties, Houston, Stewart, and Montgomery, came to me and said, the farm at Austin Peay, they've had 75% growth in the program out there. More kids want to go to the Austin Peay farm program. They've been given all this land. They've been given these herds of cattle. They got no place to teach. So we went to TVR and said, okay, let's fund $400,000 for this farm teaching facility. So they'll be able to teach animal husbandry and things like that in a high-quality classroom setting on the farm. And that's exciting to be able to deliver on. And it was actually, some of the guys from out here in Houston County that helped make that. Even though that structure will go in Montgomery County, those students are coming from here, they're coming from Stewart County, they're coming from Montgomery County, they're coming from all over the state, really, to go there and learn agriculture. And as y'all all know, GPSs that are driving the precision delivery of fertilizer to just the right spot. And this stuff's high-tech. Farming is high-tech. And so this will be really good for them. Well, what we're about today. When I was here at the last town hall meeting, and I forget who actually raised the issue. Was it G?
What you want for your birthday?
Talked about this stretch of road being incredibly dangerous. And so we went and did a little research. Well, when helped, and actually went and did some research for us, for y'all. Finding out that 62 accidents with fatalities.
62 injury accidents.
Injury accidents.
And 4 fatalities.
4 fatalities. 62 with injuries and 4 fatalities have occurred on this road. So it's pretty obvious that there are some safety issues with the road. Well, we put together this presentation, took it down to the chair of the transportation committee in the Senate. And he's a good friend and a great guy. And I said, man, we got to do something about this. Here's the PowerPoint. He said, let me take care of it. So he went and talked to TDOT. Next thing you know, I get a phone call from TDOT. Come talk to me. So we go down to TDOT, and they lay out exactly what they're doing. Right now, ongoing right now, is a safety study that is evaluating the entire 8-mile stretch from 13 all the way down to here. And what they're doing there with the safety study is trying to qualify for federal dollars. They're committing state dollars to do sort of some cleanup, like guardrails and things like that. That should begin in the spring. Okay? That's listed over here. But what we really want to do is fix some other things, like some turns need to be straightened out. And now you're talking about having byland, armor, get some right-of-ways done. That's going to take a few years to get done. But they're committing to the process of going down the road and getting that done. Now what that means is we've got to get the safety study done. And from there we go to the federal government and say we need this money and this money. And if they can't get it, then the state has to say, okay, we'll do what we can. Right now, guardrails, striping, and it's going to be the nice striping that you can see at night, the lights hit, and all of this stuff. They're going to clear vegetation, with the long-term goal being particularly to straighten out that turn right here where the deaths occur. Where that culvert is, bridge, it's more like a culvert really, but as you come around that turn, and I think there are people here who do some of the people who died at that intersection.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't his brother get killed out there too by him and Sanjay? Just past wasn't it? Where you're talking?
I think, for me, there's two things that I'd like for y'all to draw from this. Number one, if you come to a town hall meeting and you share a thought with us, we're going to run it to ground. We're going to do everything we can to bring a resolution. The other thing I want you to hear is this. All the political experts will say, you win your Senate district by Montgomery County. That ain't how I roll. I grew up in a town smaller than this. And every person in Houston County is just as important to me as the person in the room. If you have an issue, we're going to get it solved. You will get just as much of my attention as Montgomery County. And I want y'all to know that. You ask me, we're going to do our very best to make it happen. So that's kind of our announcement. TDOT's going to put this together for you. They're going to finish this safety study, and then we're going to the federal government to get the dollars to straighten it. And with that, I really don't have anything else prepared to say other than just to ask if you have any questions. If you have questions pertaining to the session this year and what we did, or questions pertaining to this project. And then in a moment, I'll open it up for questions about, okay, well, what's next? Stream cleaning, or
one of the things that I think for TDOT, what they did was is that when we got this first project looked at, right, then they actually went, hey, there might be some federal dollars out there. So what they did is they called in a team of engineers. They postponed it kind of. So they called in this engineer team to look at what they can do to try to make it a better, bigger project. So TDOT actually, they put some love in this. They didn't just go, okay, got it. They actually kind of took some ownership.
And I have to be careful. I don't want to promise what we're not going to deliver, but it may even be more grand than what I've talked about.
Yeah, they're trying. They're
it all
looking.
Depends. Those pieces depend on federal law.
Yeah.
But this, they've committed to this. They've committed to reflective striping and guardrails, and cleaning out some vegetation so the views are better. There's probably more. Any questions about this first session or about this project?
I don't have any questions, but I would like to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate it.
Thanks. And Wynn was a big help for me. He's been my right arm in all this. We're a pretty good team. He's a great guy. And I know y'all love him, so I can say that. Other thoughts or? Well, let me then kind of turn this into a town hall meeting. What else do we need to look at? And I know cleaning the streams is an issue. I've been approached about this. We're talking about getting permission from the federal. This is a federal issue. Streams and water clarity, that's an EPA thing. Got that one. We're working it. Any others? Anything else on that? burn.
Isn't there an organization somewhere in the state that can come in and clean your streams and
West Tennessee has a basin crew.
A basin.
A basin crew, and that's what they do, they get in the streams and they'll actually clear the streams out. It's funded for the farmers, but it's, my understanding is it's a state funded thing, but they're solely for West Tennessee.
Okay, that's probably, is that, a lot of the projects that get attributed to like TDOT are really federal programs that get executed through TDOT. I wonder if this isn't an EPA-based federal program that's here through the state. Whenever you say it's just one part of the state, that makes me think, okay, somebody in the federal government has targeted a specific watershed. And so, when can you just,
Okay.
he's taking notes. Yes, sir.
Sir, the guy that's actually over that basin crew is named Jim German, county detective. He's been posted over that position for several years. It's based out of Humboldt, Tennessee, the headquarters of it. And I have his number if you'll.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
That's an issue that's been raised probably, since this has been off the table, that one's probably come up, percolated up to the top, especially after the floods. We may be able to leverage some of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get the numbers of the damage. whatever that is.
To give you some numbers, we've had 3 floods in 4 years. Substantial damage.
Now, and I saw the county, you know, the TEMA's report on the damage this last time, but what would be great is to get with them and see what the damage is each of those other floods. So, okay, you had to spend X $100 million over 5 floods. Why don't we fix the dang streams? And muddy up the water a little bit for a day or two, but heck, it can't get any more muddier than it gets when the flood comes.
That actually might be a better resource because the 2010, 2011 were both federally declared. So in 2010, gosh, they were out here for months with us. So
They still haven't paid in Montgomery County. Montgomery County still hasn't got that, like the water treatment facility that was destroyed.
They're not going to declare
They are not. You had 6 structures, I heard, or is it more than 6 structures that were destroyed?
that received damage. Just here in town, I don't know. You know, I guess our director's thoughts on major damage is a little bit different than the person that has to repair the damage. Mr. Sugg was one of them that was reported as minor damage, and you know, I don't think he felt like his house received minor damage. The church here on Main Street, we have businesses back here that received damage, but of course they didn't get reported because it was minor. And again, I guess it depends on who
everything's
you're talking
relative,
to,
isn't it? Yeah.
as to what minor is.
I'm with you. It isn't relative if it's your house. It's your house.
Exactly.
Right now,
How long ago has that been?
we've got a street that's still back here on the other side.
Has that been, was that on your list? No, we got your list from TEMA.
What?
Is it on the list?
Spring Street.
Spring Street, it was not on the list because it was after I turned, they came in like a couple days after the flood and it started.
Eroding it after.
It
We need to
really,
keep that added
it
in.
started moving like the following week. It started moving pretty quickly. So.
Is it undermined?
The bottom, it eroded out from under the walls, and it just steadily has been creeping down, what it's done.
We'll go from here.
Pardon?
Yeah, Little, isn't it, what's his name, Little? When I showed that executive assembly to you?
Oh,
That was on that, he's talking about the TEMA.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah. We'll get with him And I give them the information what they did across there.
We need to do that quick,
Yeah,
though.
no, we can do it tomorrow, or what, Tuesday, it's fine.
Monday's fine. Yeah, that'd be good. So, thanks for coming. So, yeah, and maybe when we can swing by there or whatever.
Yeah, got it. Take a picture too.
Yeah, get it picked up.
Senator, I haven't had time to go to Stewart County and look at their storm damage, but from what I've read in the paper, what I understand, they probably got more storm damage 3 weeks ago than they got in 2010. In Houston County, the highway department did not get huge newspaper things like we did in 2010. In 2010, we had some $100,000 single projects and $150,000. But in 2011, we received $500,000 for storm damage in 2011, storm that came in April 2011. We have more damage today than we had in April 2011. $500,000 for Houston County is probably more than $50 million for Davis and Montgomery County. $2 million for Stewart County. If it had done $2 million to Houston County roads, we'd be back to horse and buggy probably, because there's no way we could have afforded it. We'd have had to went to the bank for our money. TEMA, a mini storm where it only affects 2 small counties. TEMA needs to be where they can step in, and if FEMA does not declare, help us sometime.
Now, we'll get to the bottom of it, but from what I understand, they identified several projects on that list, and I don't remember the list right off the top of my head, but I know in Stewart County there were 4 bridges on it, sections of road, Carlisle area, but all those areas are getting resources. In fact, one of the bridges is already fixed, I know of it.
If the storm had been declared, we would have easily be up to $500,000 from FEMA. We're going to have to absorb that.
I mean,
I know.
let me talk to FEMA and find out what happened. That has a dollar, it's a dollar figure to qualify for.
It has to be $8 million at the state, and I understand that, but it's
different if it's one of those.
Just as big an impact on us this year as it was in 2011. And highway departments are struggling right now anyway. We get the same revenue, never ever reported as the government the last time we got a revenue increase. It's great.
Well, we'll get this project, we get it all from the fund.
The EMS building that they're building now, that area right through there, I think you said 9 people had died there.
No, on this one, we've had 4 fatalities.
Well, you've had 3 right there by that EMS building, possibly 4, and several wrecks. And I was wondering what they're going to do to alleviate that problem.
He told me that already.
That's a state route?
It's already on the
That's
list.
It is a state highway.
route. Then we'll look into it.
Because
The one
It's a-
thought I had when you were telling me earlier is put some kind of a light so that as the EMS guys come out, I get what you're saying about the potential for hazard there as those guys build a new building there and they're come ripping out of there, going somewhere. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, they may be able to put something in where when EMS activates the thing, it runs everybody on both sides, until they run through.
And the state has mandated that we use this accident reporting system so they can pinpoint where these accidents are. But when we're having these multiple accidents and fatalities and everything, it seems like they're not,
Talking about Titan,
yeah.
you know the problem with Titan is that whoever put the option puts it in, the data in, if they don't put in the report, the GPS is in the TAP report or whatever, and then when they put it in, they'll say State Highway 49. That's it. And then the reports get flipped. And you can't, because I went through that with this, trying to get to that piece of data. And it's like they really need to add a grid coordinate or something into the front
Or a
side.
mile marker on the road.
Into the front side, because exactly, I had an And then even Tennessee they can't manage to figure out how to get the data.
And that's another thing.
He's exactly
I mean,
right.
I can't drive through town and show you my mom. Well, we should, I mean, not only is for tightening purposes, reporting purposes, for safety purposes, we check that over the radio. We have to search for a mailbox or something like that.
Let's put that, that's a good.
And GPS is, I mean, there's a lot of.
Yeah, you gotta have satellite. Most of those work off the cell towers anyway. Other issues, things you need me to
Y'all
take.
done filled up the whole screen already.
That means you have our attention.
I got one.
Well, I love coming up to this. I live in South Montgomery County. I'm down in the Henrietta area, down by the head, where all the heads are. In fact, the big family farm is just down the road from me. But this just reminded me of so much. I've said that 1,000 times. Y'all get tired of me saying it. I love coming out here.
We appreciate the same, just having, senators come by and be available to, let us put on zero when we're looking. My thoughts, that's a lot.
I appreciate that. Any other thoughts or questions or issues? Well, thanks again for all y'all's support. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate y'all being here because it'll get the word out. It's real important to let the police guys know that the DNA is that they can charge, get that sample.
I appreciate that. Another some of updates too.
If y'all want, my webpage now, Mark Green for Tennessee, I've got a link on the front page to another site where you can actually vote on bills that I'm going to vote on. So there's a list of 7 or 8 bills up there, and it's the first in the nation program. You can log in and click to vote yes or no on the bill and send me a note about it. And you will link straight to the bill and it will let you read the bill. One caveat, some of these bills have already been amended. So you have to click on the thing that says amendments on the bill and see the bills, how the bill's been changed. Because that'll affect whether or not you want to support it or not. But if you become a registered user of the site, as we update that thing over time, you can come on, log on, Green's got a new bill he wants my opinion on. I'm going to vote on, no, I don't want to vote on that. I want to vote against that. And we get this data, and as you register, it tells, I do have to collect a little information from you. So I know who I'm getting advice from. For example, wine in grocery stores. Very contentious, okay? Very contentious. I've frustrated some people with my vote, but 67% of the district is for wine in grocery stores, okay? The state, it's 72%, okay? So I can track, based on how you register, the difference between the way people in the state want and what our district wants. Because this is the most important. And this way people can, tell me how they want me to vote. Because I work for y'all. Y'all the boss. So I got to be able to get a way to get information back from you. And this is what we're doing. So if there's a bill you want to see up there so you can vote on it, you just click and send me a note. And we'll add that bill. Wynn actually maintains it for you. We designed this thing so that you can basically log in the next phase, and this is something that we came up with, bills being written. This is a concept. What do you think of this as a bill? And you can basically say yes or no.
And you can actually, the way we're looking at the code right now, is to say you'll be able to not only look at what we're thinking, but there'll be a place for you to tell us what you're thinking. So it's like, hey, can we do something about this? And then he can go, hey, maybe we can work, you see what I'm saying? It's going to be a little more interactive because when we first looked at it, it's really cool. And when you actually get on it, it's cool.
It's cool. And it'll show you what everybody else is thinking. So you'll be able to see what vote count is in that bill.
And it plugs you into the other representatives that are directly involved.
That's right.
You're automatically plugged into them. So
When
you
you-
just go, "Doop."
When you register, it records where you are, and you'll see, in this case, you'd see my face, and you'd see John Tibble's face. And if you wanted to talk to John Tibble, you can do it right off my site. So from my site, you can reach over and click his picture and send him a note on that bill.
Talk about buying in the grocery store. If we haven't got a webcam,
No matter.
they can still get buying in the store.
No, sir.
Okay.
All the law is that, all we voted on was to allow the people to decide. I voted to allow the people to decide. County, right now, all alcohol is, either yes or no by the county. So in a county where it's yes alcohol, we all let them decide what they wanted in the grocery store. And that's all I've said. Like I said, I think 67% of this district wants wine in grocery store. And that's mostly Montgomery County.
The only thing I have to worry about on that, in my other life, I was in law enforcement, is that clerk won't check that kid's 16 or.
Yeah, the grocery store has to do that. They'll have an obligation to do that or they lose their license. Number one. And number two, we have a law written, although it hadn't been passed, that basically says you cannot use beer at an automatic checkout, self-checkout. So you know how Walmart or Publix, you can go through and just slide your own stuff. Well, if you hit that scanner, it won't do beer or wine. So that's a bill that's been written. I'll support that. It only makes sense. Well, thanks again for coming out. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all keeping me informed on the issues that are important and allowing me to prioritize what we're going to do. We've got, again, if you'll visit that site and vote on the bills, I sure would appreciate it with the feedback. Thanks again for coming out.
Thank you.